Good evening and thanks for joining us. We are only 3 weeks into the summer and much of southern Ontario is bracing for a second heat wave. This time it could feel as hot as 45 degrees with the humidity. The hot, sticky weather starts today and could last until Thursday, making it uncomfortable to be outdoors or even indoors in some cases. Let's go live now to CTV's Heather Centerin in Waterloo near City Hall. Heather, you spoke with the city about crews that have to work outside during these heat waves.
Like people who work on the gardens around the city, Tony, or also transportation workers and utility workers. But it's not just the temperature outside that is heating up. Climate action experts say that indoors can be just as dangerous when it is this hot.
Perfect.
Getting a sweet treat in this heat is a must for some.
It's a little hot. My car doesn't have any AC, so I'm sweating a little bit, but it's all good.
Anything to help prevent heat-related illnesses.
I was walking funny and it was just really weird. So that affected me for a couple of days, actually.
The city of Waterloo says they're keeping an eye on the hot conditions and want to make sure city crews who work outside are being extra cautious.
We have to ensure that we remind staff of the taking of extra breaks and ensuring that they are consuming enough water. I think it can be easy to get lost in the work that you're doing.
While it could feel like 45 degrees Celsius this week with the humidity, climate experts say we shouldn't forget about how it feels indoors, too.
2021, BC had a heat dome that killed 619 people. 98% of those deaths were indoors.
The Centre for Climate Adaptation at the University of Waterloo says most deaths and illnesses during extreme heat happen indoors.
So we have new guidance from Health Canada that states that 26 degrees Celsius should be the absolute maximum indoor temperature.
The group believes municipalities should implement bylaws to ensure landlords guarantee a maximum internal temperature in rentals.
We currently have that for the winter, so landlords must provide a minimum indoor temperature during the winter. Starting that off would be bylaw first and then enforcement. This all takes time. I absolutely think we need to accelerate this as we're already experiencing extreme heat.
The long stretches of heat waves, one after the other, a trend that doesn't show signs of letting up.
We also have studies done from Environment and Climate Change Canada that can attribute climate change to this increase in heat waves that we're having. In the past, we would have had one. Last year, we had 11.
The city of Waterloo says there aren't any bylaws that are planned to be changed anytime soon, but they do say that there is a bylaw in place to ensure that rental units are safe and maintained, and if there is an air conditioning unit is required to be operational. Tony.
All right, Heather, thank you. CTV's Heather Centerin live outside Waterloo City Hall tonight. And let's get a first look at the forecast now. Ashley Bacon is outside on our patio here at CTV. And Ash, you know, over the years, I've made no secret about the fact that I don't love intense heat, but it was so gorgeous. I wanted to spend as much time outside as possible yesterday in it. Did it ever hit quick?
You know what, Tony? It is just as hot today, but things are only just getting started. This heat wave really going to get to its peak tomorrow. So if you're not a fan of the heat like Tony, you definitely want to take it easy tomorrow. Things on the rise already. As you said, I'm outside and it is beautiful out here today. But let's take a look at Environment Canada's warning. So we have a heat warning in effect, which we could see max temperatures up to 37, feeling closer to 45 with the humidity. This is expected to last until Wednesday, possibly Thursday, with the hottest peak looking like it'll be tomorrow. Right now, we're still sitting at 30 degrees, a west by northwest wind at 20 kilometers an hour, and I can say it does feel great, feeling closer to 35 right now with the humidity. So overall, temperatures on the rise. Just how hot will it get tomorrow? I'll have those details with your full forecast coming up a little later in the show, Tony.
Sounds good, Ash. Thank you very much. A major crash on Highway 401 in Cambridge this weekend claimed the life of a Kitchener man and caused an hours-long shutdown in the eastbound lanes. The collision comes just weeks before posted speed limits are expected to increase on major highways across the province, prompting concerns about the potential for even deadlier crashes. Let's bring in CTV's Alexandra Hollick now with more on this story. Alexandra, let's begin with that crash and what we know about what happened.
Tony, 9 vehicles were involved and more than a dozen people injured. Police are not saying whether speed was a factor just at this point, but one mother who was involved in the wreck says she worries it could have been a lot worse. Gasping for air, Amatal Majid takes in her surroundings Saturday afternoon. She's standing on Highway 401 in Cambridge, debris scattered across eastbound lanes.
All I could think about was my son. Like, at that time, it was like a shock. I was very nervous and shaking.
Her car, one of 9 vehicles involved in a crash near Town Line Road.
We were all slowing down slowly, and all of a sudden, in my back mirror view, I saw the car hitting, like the truck coming very fast, hitting the cars behind me. I was like trying to save myself, but it happened so quick. Very, very quick that I couldn't save myself either.
Majid and her 3-year-old son weren't injured, but others weren't so lucky. Ontario Provincial Police say a 44-year-old Kitchener man was taken to a trauma center where he died.
That guy, his car was crushed. Like someone actually crushed it with the machine. It was that bad.
The driver of a transport truck was arrested at the scene for dangerous driving, but was released without conditions pending the investigation. While it's not yet clear if speed was a factor, Majid says she worries about what could have happened if the speed limit was increased as the province plans.
As soon as you hear about 110, people are going to go to 130, right? If they go to 120 right now on 100, then that means they're definitely going to hit 130 easily.
The reality is the faster you go, the harder you hit, the more consequences there are.
Ontario Safety League President Angelo DeCicco says while the signage may change, physics along with police enforcement does not.
A higher posted speed limit is not a license to speed. So safety is about behavior, roadway design, education, enforcement, and personal responsibility.
For Majid, she says she's grateful her family is safe and hopes the crash serves as a reality check for all road users.
There were families involved in this accident. It's not something small. So we definitely need to take all the precautions we can.
And police were tight-lipped today on what may have caused the crash, along with any other details on other victims and drivers involved. They say the investigation is still ongoing and charges are pending. Tony.
Alexandra, thank you. That's Alexandra Hullock reporting. 2 days after a fatal shooting at the busy Salsa on St. Clair Street Festival, police announced plans for tougher consequences to gun violence in public spaces. And we're also learning more tonight about the 2 young men who were killed on Saturday. CTV's Janice Golding is following the latest on the investigation.
This is what a crowd of 13,000 people looks like when shots are fired in their midst. 5 people injured, another 2 killed, including 25-year-old Shaquan Kwashi.
My son is gone. My daughter now doesn't have a brother.
Kwashi's mother, Sheridan, says when she first learned her son was shot, she rushed to the festival.
I had to stay there for a bit because they don't know where the body.
Ultimately, however, she'd be taken to Sunnybrook Hospital where she'd wait hours.
The nurse, the surgeon, the police officers, they asked me who's there with me. It's my daughter. They told me he's dead.
Sheridan's only son dead, and a neighbor he grew up with, 20-year-old Cesar Vernazza, also killed.
As a parent, you see them all grow up together, and then for something like this to happen, it's very devastating.
Mothers grieving sons and people along St. Clair are also traumatized.
The shots rang out right there. I ducked, like we went on the stomach, and then we made sure everybody else was down.
Business owners describing the chaos, confusion, and fear after shots rang out.
You got hundreds of people like flying into the restaurant. Tables being trampled, people being trampled. Like it's not a joke.
One girl was shot in the arm, and of course she's wearing a white dress, which rapidly turned red.
I think it was here, and then she was cut here too. I don't know if it was a shot or if...
How alarming was that to see?
She was an 18-year-old, so it was very alarming.
Some, in fact, question whether the festival should be held again.
Nobody supports this. 3 other restaurants shut down purposely.
At a news conference today, both the mayor and Toronto's chief of police called for change.
If you pull out a gun in a public space and fire it indiscriminately, that should be treated with the utmost seriousness in the law.
I have also spoken to the federal public safety minister to stem the flow of illegal American guns coming onto Toronto's streets.
Whatever changes may come, they will not bring Sheridan Kwashi's son back.
When he hugged me, the very last words My son said to me, God is good.
Shaquan Quashie and Cesar Vernazza are Toronto's 19th and 20th homicides of the year.
That report from CTV's Janice Golding. Peter Nygard has been found guilty in Montreal of 1 count each of sexual assault and forcible confinement. The 84-year-old accepted a plea deal and did not present any evidence in his defense. He appeared via video call from an Ontario prison. Lawyers will be back in court October 2nd to present a joint recommendation for sentencing. Nygard has denied allegations that he used his position to lure women and girls. In 2023, he was convicted of sexual assault and sentenced to 11 years in prison following a trial in Toronto. A string of sunglasses thefts has local business owners sharing their stories and videos of the person they believe is behind it. As CTV's Karis Mapp tells us, the same man has been caught on video in at least 6 stores around the region, taking without buying.
This video is one of many shedding light on a shady theft. Staff at Identity Optical in Kitchener say the man came in looking for a pair of sunglasses to give his brother for his birthday.
He was looking at the sunglasses and he had asked me about different colors of this frame that I don't have in the store. So I went onto my computer to check, and each and every time he actually asked me a different question or asked about booking an appointment or something that I can be distracted and look something up so he could be taking something from me.
Using a decoy pair to commit the alleged crime in plain sight.
He actually took a frame out of his pocket, took the frame that he wanted, put the decoy up, and slid that frame back into his pocket.
It wasn't until 2 weeks later when Tran realized the sunny swap.
I was actually helping another customer and I noticed the frame on the board. After she left, I looked on my surveillance footage, and this is when I noticed him putting the decoy up, and I noticed the other 2 frames going missing as well.
3 frames totaling more than $1,500. Tran worrying she wasn't the only victim.
Just the way that he was asking specific questions, not nervous at all, I knew that he's actually done this before.
After posting the video on social media, other store owners shared similar stories.
As of right now, there has been 6 other stores that has reached out to me. It was the same day, it was within a couple hours.
One included Pierce Family Vision in Waterloo, where they say a similar looking man took a pair worth over $600.
He wasn't here very long, maybe 5 minutes total. Came in, said he wanted to look at sunglasses, we think, because he kind of muttered, and came over here, tried a few pair of sunglasses on, and then just grabbed our expensive frame and put it in his pocket, looked at another frame, and then walked out the door.
Police say they're looking into the reports.
We encourage anyone who believe that they have been a victim of a similar situation to please contact police so it can be investigated.
Karis Mapp, CTV News.
Weeks after we learned about the death of an Ontario woman by a chemical sold from Ukraine, another family is coming forward with a similar story in the UK. As CTV's John Woodward tells us, they are begging police in Ukraine to investigate.
This was a delight. She's artistic, so witty.
That's how her parents, Bob and Mary Pritchard, remember their daughter, Grace, an artist who created these images despite her mental health struggles.
She was just precious. She was kind of everything. Yeah.
I mean, losing her has been catastrophic.
Grace died by suicide in August in the family's home in Suffolk, England. She was 23. Her parents found this package containing a deadly chemical mailed from Ukraine. It's the same chemical the 22-year-old Annika Dallin O'Grady ordered to her home in Ottawa before she died this spring, also from Ukraine, from a seller named Leonid Zakutenko, discovered in Kyiv by the BBC in 2024. Zakutenko confirmed to CTV News he sold the chemical regularly, including to Canada, but said it was for food preparation and not to help anyone die. It's the same chemical that was sold by Ontario's Kenneth Law, connected to at least 150 deaths around the world, netting him some $300,000, court heard. Law was convicted of 14 counts of aiding and abetting suicide and is awaiting a sentence. CTV News approached the Ukraine National Police to ask them if they had similar plans to prosecute in that country, even as it attempts to repel an invasion by Russia. The answer is, at this point, no. In a letter, they pointed out under current Ukrainian legislation, the chemical is not classified as a narcotic drug, psychotropic substance, or precursor subject to controlled circulation. A disappointing stance, says Annika's mother.
It's very clear that this is not really a cooking store. The seller is clearly putting out products that if someone actually used them to make hot dogs, they would actually kill themselves.
CTV News has learned that another police force in the UK, Northumbria, is investigating another similar death. That gives the Pritchards hope.
These people are aiding and abetting people, and that is illegal. You know, that's the illegality, and that, you know, that's what, you know, all governments should be looking into.
The Pritchards have also written to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, hoping he will also take steps to make sure no one is using the cover of war to profit from death. John Woodward, CTV News.
A major gateway in Cambridge blocked off for months. Just ahead, CTV's Spencer Turcott has a closer look at how a massive construction project is going to impact one of the city's main arteries.
Well, it's a good thing there's a light breeze because it is getting hot out here. And guess what? It's not going to cool off much tonight. I'll have a further look at when we can expect a cool down with your full forecast coming up.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We go to a dramatic scene unfolding.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVKitchener.ca, your home for news.
A main point of entry into the Hespeler area of Cambridge closed today and is expected to stay closed for the next 5 months. CTV's Spencer Turcott has more on what residents and businesses along sections of Queen Street West can expect.
Surrounding roads may be closed, but home decor and clothing consignment store Next Time Around is very much open.
This is what we call the market here at Next Time Around.
The shop in the Hespeler area of Cambridge is now facing one of its biggest challenges in its 14-year history.
As soon as the announcement was made public that there was going to be a road closure, we had customers and our vendors already going, what's going to happen?
The Queen Street West reconstruction project will include replacement of water mains, sanitary sewers, and storm sewers. Repairs to asphalt, sidewalks, curbs, and gutters will also take place, all of it requiring some significant closures.
Queen Street is obviously going to be closed, and our posted detour would be taking Goble and Holiday Inn Drive, Franklin, Adams Street. Those are the main routes that folks should utilize during the closure.
This project is expected to be complete in December and came in under budget.
The project budget was $3.2 million at the when we were planning the project, but since we tendered the project, the actual cost came in at about $2.3 million, and actually $1.5 million of that cost will be covered by the provincial grant that we received for the project.
The work will be done in various phases, but some businesses worry that a lengthy closure will deter customers.
I think my biggest fear is people will just not even try to get here. They may just think it's not worth the headache.
However, city staff are reminding people that through construction, businesses remain open.
We maintain access for patrons of each business to go in and out, and obviously employees and things like that.
Some temporary water interruptions may impact businesses and homes near the reconstruction, though people will be notified ahead of time, and any driveways that need to be cut into will be repaired by the contractor. As well, garbage and recycling bins will be relocated to an accessible location and returned by construction crews. Businesses impacted by the closures just hope everything stays on schedule, especially as it nears the holidays.
6 months is a very long time to be closed, and that gets us into our Christmas season, which here is, and for most retail, is the busiest time of year.
Spencer Turcott, CTV News, Cambridge.
A warning now about another rapidly rising tick-borne disease. We've already been talking about Lyme disease. Now there's something called anaplasmosis, also carried by ticks, but left untreated can be even more dangerous. CTV's Adrian Gobriel now on why health officials are putting an alert out now.
In tall grass and along nature trails, a growing danger is lurking. Black-legged ticks have been expanding their geographical footprint in Canada, driven in part by milder winters. And now this Canadian Medical Journal report is flagging that a number of ticks aren't just carrying Lyme disease, some are spreading anaplasmosis. While rare, the tick-borne disease can be fatal.
There have been, unfortunately, 3 or 4 deaths related to anaplasmosis in the province of Ontario in the last 1 to 2 years.
They thought that he was not going to make it.
During a long nature walk with his dogs in Halifax, Nova Scotia in July of 2022, Perry Horn believes he was bitten by a tick.
He had a high fever, so much so that the bed was shaking.
He was sent home after his first 2 trips to Dartmouth General Hospital. Doctors initially thought he had COVID, though with his health rapidly declining, he was rushed back to the ER for a 3rd visit.
I woke up, my fingers were purple. My heart and kidneys were failing.
By noon the next day, the doctor was rushing him to the ICU because he wasn't getting any better and they had no idea what was going on.
It's there in the ICU that Horn was diagnosed with anaplasmosis. The most recent national data shows there were roughly 5,800 reported cases of tick-borne illness in Canada in 2024. More than 2,300 of those cases were found in each of Ontario and Nova Scotia. More than 830 were reported in Quebec, though case counts that include anaplasmosis are now believed to be even higher.
The doctor that looked after me said I was possibly the first case in Nova Scotia.
Anaplasmosis is now the 2nd most common tick-borne illness in Canada. The Horns are sharing their story to spread awareness across the country.
Nearly took me.
I had no idea if my husband was coming out of ICU.
Federal funding for TickNet Canada that brought together doctors and researchers who are battling the rise in tick-borne diseases came to an end in March, along with vital work that was being done. The government agency responsible for the cutbacks was unable to answer our questions before our deadline. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Hamilton, Ontario.
All right, looking live outside now from the camera of our photographer Dave Pettit in Waterloo. We have a pretty warm, muggy evening out there, but this is nothing compared to what we are expecting tomorrow as this heat wave picks up. Temperatures become a little more intense. Ashley's here with the outlook for the rest of the week in just a couple of minutes. Also coming up, a big teen with big dreams. We will meet a football player from Stratford who's getting a helping hand from the community in pursuit of one day going pro. Next, though, the renewed debate over gun control after deadly shootings at a community festival in Toronto. All right, Ashley is here with our forecast for a new week. We just came off a weekend where we really felt that turn into heat wave territory from compared to where it started Saturday to, well, where it is right now.
Luckily, though, it looks like at least at this stage, it's not going to be as long as the last one. So the biggest day of it, or the hottest day of it, I should say, looks like it'll be tomorrow, Tony. So we got to get through tonight and tomorrow, and then things take a little bit of a cool down. Let's take a look back outside. You can see there's a light breeze out there. And Tony, as I was standing out there earlier, let me tell you that breeze made a difference because it is toasty if you are standing in that sun. Make sure if you're out there, you're sun safe. I will never stop saying it. So I'm sorry if I sound like a broken record, but look, it is one of those things. It's that time of year where you really need to take care of yourself and keep hydrated because things are just going to continue to get hotter. As we take a look at some Environment Canada alerts and warnings, we have a yellow watch in effect for heat for southern Ontario. And as a reminder, that could mean we could see temperatures feeling close to 45 with the humidity. So we want to make sure that if you are spending some time outdoors, make sure you have plenty of water with you, you're being sun safe. And of course, it is that time of year where you should check on your neighbors, your loved ones, and make sure everyone's cool enough. Not everyone is fortunate enough to have air conditioning. So if you know someone who doesn't, maybe offer up a place in your home for a couple of hours for some relief. Or if you have a pool, invite us over. over. I know Tony and I would like to come. As we take a look at the futurecast, nice and clear. So we're not seeing anything in the way of precipitation at this stage for the next 24 hours. But in saying so, when we have hot, humid days like we've seen in the past, it could mean pop-up showers come up very quickly. So it's not a bad idea to keep an umbrella handy. As we take a look what's happening across the country right now, an absolutely beautiful day coast to coast to coast. On the west coast, 22 in Vancouver, a mix of sun and cloud. On the other side of the Rockies, 23 in Edmonton, 24 and sunny in Calgary. As we push through the prairie provinces, things heating up even further. 26 in Yellowknife and Saskatoon, 27 in Regina, 36 degrees this hour in Winnipeg. So it is toasty. And as we move further east, Ottawa 31, Toronto 31, Montreal 26, Thunder Bay 34 degrees this afternoon. St. John's, the coolest place in the country at the moment, at 15 degrees. So not too bad here in Waterloo, though. We're still staying steady at 30 degrees, feeling closer to 35 with the humidity. It is definitely getting toasty. Tonight, this is where things kind of take a change. 21, the expected overnight low. So when the temperatures don't go below 20, that's when things really start to feel hot the next day. Now, tomorrow we're expecting a daytime high of 35, could feel closer to 43 with the humidex at times. So make sure you're being careful. And as we get a closer look at our 7-day forecast starting in Waterloo region, overnight Wednesday, things start to cool down slightly. So if you remember that first heat wave we had 3 or 4 nights of above 20s. This one is supposed to be just tonight and Tuesday, so not as extended. So overnight sleeping conditions looking like they'll start to improve from Wednesday night. In Lambton, Kent, Essex, however, hot nights ahead, 24, 21, and 20 for Thursday and Friday. So it looks like you might be experiencing a heat event a little bit longer than us in Waterloo region. And then in southern Georgian Bay, similar conditions to us here. A very hot Tuesday ahead, a very warm Wednesday, but by Thursday overnight, temperatures getting back into that normal range for this time of year. Okay, let's take a look at today's Weather Watcher picture sent in from Saskatchewan, who snapped this amazing photo of the Stratford Light Up the Night Kayak Club. And this was during a cruise up the Thames River in St. Mary's on Saturday. Isn't that beautiful,
That's
Tony?
gorgeous.
Oh,
yeah.
I want to join. I don't have a kayak, though.
No.
No, but that looks like fun.
You'll have to, maybe that's another get in the game for you, learning how to kayak.
That could be another Friday. It could be a Friday thing, but a 5 p.m. segment.
You never know.
You never know.
You never know. All right. Thanks, Ash.
Thanks, Tony.
Well, turning now to one of our top stories once again, the shooting at Salsa on St. Clair in Toronto. It's raised new concerns about crowd control, and it's renewed the national debate over illegal firearms. Today, Toronto's police chief urgently called for federal reforms. CTV's Judy Trin reports.
Gunfire at a Toronto salsa festival, sending crowds running for cover. 2 people shot dead. 5 others injured. The mayor of Canada's biggest city is vowing the summer tradition will continue.
We will not let reckless criminals stop Toronto's tradition of outdoor street festivals.
There were an estimated 13,000 people at the festival, including families with children. For people to continue attending these events, analysts say the public could demand a bigger police presence.
We can expect that there will be more tolerance for the police to use more of the techniques that private security uses in private venues, like things like using metal detectors or increased use of CCTV cameras and whatnot.
The Conservatives are blaming the brazen gun violence on the Liberal government and years of lax sentencing.
If you're a violent repeat offender, especially a gun offender, you should be removed from society for a very long time. And that will create the deterrence necessary to prevent gun violence.
Under pressure, the Liberals have made more than 80 changes to the criminal code to tighten bail and sentencing for repeat offenders.
Gang violence, tougher sentencing in around that. We really have tightened up the criminal code. We just got that through Parliament and it's been signed off.
Toronto's police chief wants a new law to protect from guns being fired in public spaces.
When someone is shot and killed in a congregate setting, whether it's a stray bullet or because someone started a fight and pulled a gun, such offenses should be classified as first-degree murder.
Toronto's mayor is also calling for more cooperation between Canadian and American law enforcement to ensure that guns are not being smuggled into Canada. Statistics show that nearly half of all guns seized by police in Canada are from the U.S. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
The region's top political job is up for grabs once again this fall, and the current chair says she'd like to stay on for another term. CTV's Krista Simpson hears from Karen Redmond right after this. It remains unclear when Unifor, the union representing Canadian auto workers, will enter contract negotiations with Stellantis and General Motors. Unifor and the Ford Motor Company have reached a tentative deal covering roughly 5,000 workers at 5 plants in southern Ontario, as well as one in Alberta. Details of the 3-year deal will not be released until they are ratified by union members. Unifor says talks with Stellantis and GM will begin once the Ford agreement is ratified. While the Bank of Canada is expected to leave its benchmark interest rate unchanged for a 6th consecutive time on Wednesday. That is despite renewed violence in the Middle East threatening to reignite inflation. The annual inflation rate in May topped 3% for the first time since late 2023, as the war between the U.S., Israel, and Iran pushed gas prices higher. Bank of Canada Governor Tiff Macklem has stated the central bank will look through the initial inflation shock from high gas prices, but will act as if monetary policymakers think that price pressures are spreading. While Ottawa has set specific goals to boost the use of artificial intelligence through a new national strategy, a nonprofit in Saskatchewan is hoping to do its part in educating the public. AI Saskatchewan wants to improve AI literacy for 10,000 people. CTV's Allison Bamford has more on what's behind this goal.
Not too long ago, Alex Fallon didn't know much about artificial intelligence.
I've kind of been learning as I go.
Now he uses it every day.
I kept your last cigarette in the glove box like a relic.
Drawing inspiration for poetry in his spare time.
So I'll take what it provides and then I'll make it into my own.
And developing briefing notes and presentations at work. Fallon is the founder of Artificial Intelligence Saskatchewan, a nonprofit dedicated to growing the use of AI across the province.
Providing people with the opportunity to learn about AI gives them the chance to decide for themselves to what extent they want to use it in their home life and in their workplace.
The organization is developing a program to teach the basics of AI, what it is, what it can do, and the guardrails in place, intended as a stepping stone for beginners.
For AI to spread, more and more people need to start using it.
The program follows the release of Ottawa's national AI strategy last month that set goals of making Canadians more AI literate and boosting the number of businesses that use AI from the current 12% to 60% by 2034.
Canadians in general are quite literate compared to the global population, but also a little bit hesitant.
Western University's chief AI officer, Mark Daly, says hesitancy is a sign that Canadians are literate and understand AI enough to think critically of it.
I'm an educator, so of course I think the solution for hesitancy and fear is education. If you understand what it is you're dealing with, then it's easier to integrate that into your life.
AI literacy is a spectrum. Fallon says he isn't an expert, but experimenting with the tools has been one of the best ways to learn.
What could I ask it to do?
AI Sask has a goal of teaching 10,000 people, whether that's individuals, small businesses, or not-for-profits. They plan to launch their courses in the fall. Allison Bamford, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Okay, time now to recap our top stories. Leanne Evans is back in studio with us once again tonight, and we've got the latest on this heat wave that is really incoming and taking hold now.
Yeah, and it could feel as hot as 45 with the humidity, Tony. It's not just the temperature outside that's heating up. Climate action experts say inside could be even more dangerous when it's this hot. The group believes municipalities should implement bylaws to ensure landlords guarantee a maximum internal temperature in rentals. A major crash on Highway 401 in Cambridge this weekend claimed the life of a 44-year-old Kitchener man and caused an hours-long shutdown in the eastbound lanes. The driver of a transport truck was arrested at the scene for dangerous driving but was released without conditions pending the investigation. The collision comes just weeks before posted speed limits are expected to increase on major highways across the province, prompting concerns about the potential for even deadlier crashes.
And online tonight, Leanne, we've been covering the story about the Brantford Airport's boundary adjustment, and there's an update on that from our digital team tonight.
Yeah, the update provided by the City of Brantford and the County of Brant. The revised proposal removes 469 acres, including some agricultural land, from the transfer area. You can read all the details and find out more about that proposal on our website, ctvnewskitchener.ca, or download the CTV News app by scanning the QR code in the bottom of your screen. Tony.
Okay, sounds good. Leanne, thank you so much. CTV's Leanne Evans joining us in studio. Waterloo Regional Chair Karen Redmond is making a bid to keep the position for another 4 years, this time making her case to the province, who will be appointing a person to fill the role instead of voters directly electing a chair as they have in the past. CTV's Krista Simpson is here live now with more and had a chance to speak with Redmond earlier today. Krista.
Tony, Redmond has been elected to the position of regional chair twice, in 2018 and 2022, and said she had intended to run for a third term before the province changed the position to an appointed one. But she is once again throwing her hat in the ring, saying she filled out her application like anyone who wants to hold the position needs to do. Redmond cites as her accomplishments over the years the launch of the ION light rail transit and navigating the COVID-19 crisis. And Redmond says she feels she's well positioned to carry on the role and bring some stability, especially as the region continues to address the water capacity constraints in the Mannheim service area. Redmond has held a number of roles in public office. She first entered politics in 1988 as a public school trustee. She later was a councillor in Kitchener and also an MP for more than a decade. And even after 2 terms as regional chair, she says she's engaged in what she does and is still passionate about problem solving.
I believe that there are many challenges facing Waterloo Region, but there's so much opportunity, and somebody that has the experience that I have, especially 2 terms being chair, I want to offer that to the community to continue moving forward. Public life to me has always been about the here and now and the future, and it's one of the reasons why I think regional government is the place to be if you want to impact the quality of life for your family, for business, for your community.
Today is the deadline for applications for the regional chair role. We reached out to the province to see how many people have put their name forward, but we did not hear back. The province has indicated that a chair will be appointed sometime after the municipal election, which is on October 26th. Tony.
Krista, thank you. CTV's Krista Simpson with that report. It's an unusual competition that has its critics, but a Kitchener woman is making her mark in it. Just ahead, CTV's Colton Weens will introduce us to a newly crowned Power Slap champion and hear how some of her life experiences led her on an unexpected path. A woman from Kitchener is making a name for herself in a growing combat sport. Ellie Dempster became the first ever women's flyweight title holder in Power Slap on Friday. And as CTV's Colton Weens explains, the 29-year-old wants to keep expanding her combat career.
Women's flyweight champion of the world, Ellie Dempster!
Kitchener's Ellie Belly Dempster making history in Las Vegas on Friday, becoming the first ever women's flyweight champion in Power Slap.
I'm so grateful about it. No, I'm still a little bit in shock.
The 29-year-old, now a perfect 3-0 in her Power Slap career, defeating Zoe Dubois in a 5-round unanimous decision in the first ever women's title bout.
The performance was not great. But everything before it was.
How life brought her here, she never expected. Dempster grew up in the Huron area of Kitchener, roughhousing with her brother and playing sports like football and rugby. But fighting was never on the table.
I've always been in the really aggressive sports. But then Fighting was only a thing once I moved to Thailand. My family's so gentle. I was working with an NGO that rescued children from sex trafficking. And I, looked at the situation. I went, if adults aren't taking care of you, how do I teach these kids to take care of themselves? And I was like, I'll teach them self-defense. And I awkwardly had to look at myself and go, I don't know self-defense.
That led to pursuing Muay Thai professionally with 12 wins, 9 knockouts, and 2 losses. Then invited to an MMA bout in the U.S., she tore her ACL but bounced back, landing in Power Slap. Now the only female flyweight with a knockout and a title.
Flyweight on the side. It's a hefty hecker.
Dempster also tries to shed light on charities with each bout and has raised $30,000 for an orphanage in Thailand and over $100,000 for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital.
Every time that I get on stage, I do it for a reason. I have more of an impact being a voice than I do being a teacher. So I made the decision to move to America. And
while some frown at Power Slap for its lack of defense, Dempster says it has strict rules and competitors train their bodies to take hits. She hopes to defend her new title while continuing her combat career.
My career's just getting started. Start hitting 30, and for guys, that's when you start dwindling down. For females, oddly enough, that's when we've got more of a pathway for us.
Once a rough and tumble Kitchener kid, now on the world stage, taking it one slap at a time. Colton Ween, CTV News, Kitchener.
And we've got more news coming up in a moment. First, though, let's check in once again with Ashley.
Well, we know tomorrow's best accessory will be water. I'll have details on just how hot it's going to be first thing after this. Stay with us. Coming up on CTV tonight, starting it off with E-Talk at 7, followed by The Big Bang Theory, then the quiz with balls at 8, and cap your night off with American Ninja Warrior at 9.
Tonight, new details on the victims of Toronto's deadly festival shooting.
The violence at salsa on St. Clair was reckless and disgusting.
What we're learning about the attack and the push for stiffer gun laws. Later on CTV National News and watch on Crave.
KW's Bounce 99.5 has the music you just can't quit. Listen all summer for your chance to win. Turn the lights off, carry me home. With Bounce to your backyard.
All right, let's rejoin Leanne now for a look at another story our team is watching tonight. Leanne.
Tony, a weekend fire at the Kitchener Market is not considered suspicious. It happened around 1 a.m. Sunday. The city says flames were believed to have started at a vendor's stall. No one was hurt. Damage is pegged at $50,000. The fire is not expected to affect the outdoor viewing parties for the FIFA World Cup. However, there will be no access to the market building, but there will be portable washrooms on site. Tony.
Okay, Leanne, thank you for that update. And Ashley, the update regarding our forecast is it gets worse tomorrow as far as this heat goes.
It looks like tomorrow will be the peak of it. So as long as we can get through tonight, tomorrow, and maybe into the overnight tomorrow, we should be through at least this round of a heat wave. Let's take a look at tomorrow morning. So right and early, by 10 a.m., Tony, already 28 degrees. Now, keep in mind, everyone, this is before we factor in humidity. So it could feel warmer than this starting as early as 6. Really, when that sun starts to come up.
And you make a good point. Like 20 degrees is kind of the cutoff point where when you have nights where it dips below 20, you get some comfort. When it doesn't, that's when it really starts to feel oppressive.
Because your homes don't cool off. So when your homes aren't cooling off through the evening and overnight hours, it really doesn't give you any reprieve for when it heats up again the next day. So unfortunately, it looks like at least another 24 hours of really sticky and uncomfortable conditions. But Wednesday overnight, not so bad.
All right. Well, we will be ready for that.
Yes.
And finally for us, a young athlete from Stratford has big dreams on the gridiron. Elijah Magasuba just graduated 8th grade and has been recruited to join one of the top football programs in Canada.
But as we so often see, helping an athlete reach their potential takes a village. CTV's Jeff Pickle reports.
Elijah Magasuba is a big kid with big dreams.
Probably to play in the NFL.
Heading into grade 9 at 6'2", 275 pounds, and just barely a teenager, Elijah's been recruited by Football North in Mississauga, one of the top football programs in Canada, turning out dozens of top athletes.
So the offensive line protects the quarterback and makes holes for the running back to run into.
With plenty of size, skill, and work ethic, the only thing missing was financial support.
Realizing that, this guy's got the talent, this kid has a talent. The challenge becomes, how do you get them there, because there's a cost that's associated with it.
In steps homeroom teacher Tracy James, who spotted a special student athlete first on the volleyball court.
And I remember Elijah. Here's this 6'2" beyond kid who is diving for balls. And I remember thinking to myself, you don't see that size, that height, diving for balls. And there wasn't even a second thought.
To help fill in the financial gaps, James recruited her former teacher and now Mayor Martin Ritzma to help with the fundraising.
The old mantra of takes a village, and this young man's about to leave the Falcon's nest, and whatever we can do to help him soar to his highest heights is important to me.
Local church Jubilee Stratford and Stratford restaurant Joe's Diner kicked in with a contribution, but despite the community help, more is still needed.
Almost full tuition, almost. It's the accommodation piece that we're looking to move forward with.
All pitching in with the goal of helping a young athlete reach his potential.
It means everything just to know that I have a really big support system, and everyone in Stratford's helping me out.
Jeff Pickle, CTV News, Stratford.
Now, Ash, I'll say this. When Jeff Pickle comes back and tells you he's impressed by someone's height,
yes,
you know that it's a real deal, because Jeff Pickle is the tallest person I think I've ever worked with.
Yes, well, not to brag, I'm 5'2" with heels. So, I mean, that young man has a foot on me already at 13. So good for you, Elijah, and best of luck.
All
that's
the best
incredible.
To Elijah, for sure. And congratulations on getting recruited for that camp as well. So, bright future ahead in the sport, I think.
If you're practicing tomorrow, make sure to have some extra water.
Hey, good, timely weather advice as we say goodnight, and we'll see you back here at 11:30. I'll be well hydrated by then after the walk tonight.
Love it.
Have a good night.